here we are, miraculously.
Music.
Miraculously, we made it. We're here.
Yo, hold on. Before you start the SmackDown thing, this is rapper Apter. Okay, I'm going to give you something right now. Yo, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the one I used to know, like where the freaking treetops glisten. And all right, you got that? All right, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. Hey, gang, it's me.
I was going to say, we're a few minutes late, and you wouldn't have believed me if I told you, but this man was rapping Barry Manilow, which is why we were a couple minutes late.
I know the whole Manilow catalog. I can not only rap it, just give me a Manilow. Give me a last night I waved goodbye. Now it seems years. I know every song he's ever done.
SP3 is a big Barry Manilow guy.
Oh, I can tell, right? I can.
Barry White?
No, Barry Manilow.
Who?
He is
Manilow.
white.
Manilow was his middle name. Don't worry. It was Barry Manilow White. That's what it was.
Right. How you doing, guys? Is this our final live show of the year?
Yes, I do believe it is. I don't even know what they're doing for SmackDown next week, honestly, to be completely honest.
I think it's a highlight show.
Probably just a highlight show. There's no reason for us to be here. This show's going completely off. This is like an all-time record for the show just going completely off the rails, and that's saying something because usually we host it with Dutch Mantel. Why don't we start here? What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Friday, December 22nd. Merry Christmas to all those who celebrate. I hope you have a great, safe holiday weekend.
That's it.
Rick Ucchino, SP3, and Bill Apter once again filling in for Dutch Mantel, who is on the mend. He is getting better, and we are hoping to see Dutch in the new year. Make sure to get your comments in, get your super chats in. We will be reading them throughout the entirety of the show. Super chats are the way to guarantee to get your comments.
I might pop in, by the way, on some of when Dutch is back. I might just do a drive-by.
Why not? Make it a party. Let's frickin' go. We got the WWLTD saying he's here for the King Apter takes, and you're here for the King Apter raps.
I like that. Thank you. Loose
dropping it down.
Yeah. Anybody want any other songs by Tom Jones, Barry Manilow, Andy Williams? I can rap them all. Harry Belafonte.
I know Tom Jones. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Do you know who Harry Belafonte is?
It's not unusual.
I've heard the name.
The call.
Do you know who Harry Belafonte was?
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air changed my life.
I guarantee you will know who Harry Belafonte is. Guaranteed. Dale.
Yeah.
Daylight comes in me one. Yeah.
Now I want to watch Beetlejuice. All right. Anywho, let's talk about this SmackDown episode here tonight, guys. This was taped last week, and surprisingly, I feel like there was a fair bit of news to come out of this, at least for a taped show.
Good.
So if you avoided the spoilers, you were pretty surprised tonight. If not, you knew everything was coming. Well, maybe not everything. We'll dive into it all. Let's start with AJ Styles. This new version, this pissed off, mad at the world version of AJ Styles, who doesn't even wrestle in tights anymore. Now he wrestles in black jeans. He comes out tonight, says he doesn't care about Randy Orton. He doesn't care about LA Knight. He wants Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. LA Knight comes out, says, nah, I want Roman Reigns first. Except he might drop AJ for that cheap shot last week. And then we find out why AJ hit him with the cheap shot. And I believe this is what, Bill, you said it was going to be. If I remember correctly, this was your guess, your theory. AJ says that LA Knight stepped over his dead body to get a match with Cena and subsequently his match with Roman. So this is just LA Knight, I guess, here, guys. Like I said, pissed off at the world. He wants a shot at Roman, and he's not going to let anything get in his way, even, as we found out later on in the night, Bill, his relationship with the OC, which is now a little fractured.
That surprised me. That really did. I didn't expect to see that at all.
Well, what'd you make of his opening promo tonight?
He had a whole different styles. His style was totally different. The anger was really coming out of him like he really meant it. You could tell he was grouchy. He just, everything was wrong. Like he had to come back after being injured for so many weeks, and he had to come out and be, just almost like, I'm not starting at the bottom again. I'm going after Roman Reigns. I don't care who else is here. So yeah, I loved it. I love his new attitude. What I didn't like was when he had his revenge match against Solo, there was the fury in him didn't come out as much as I thought it would have in that match. Do you two both agree?
Yeah.
SP3, what did you think tonight?
I like the opening promo, and I like him leaning into it's the lone wolf AJ Styles. It's the AJ Styles that fans, if you were a fan of TNA back in 2013, that's the AJ Styles we got kind of after the whole botched storyline with Kazarian and Daniels about him having cheating on his wife and stuff like that. It was weird. But then he came back as the lone wolf, and it was in the black jeans with the black hoodie. So I like the fact that he was showing that more here. You felt the anger in the promo. I think that Bill is right about the match, but we can get more into that when we get to the match part of that. But the opening promo was good, instead of kind of setting the landscape with LA Knight kind of having a gripe against AJ Styles. Randy Orton also in the mix because he wants the match with Roman Reigns, and each of the guys have their own issue with Roman, and it gives them, all the opportunity for fans to kind of believe that any of the guys can win this upcoming triple threat match in 2 weeks.
Remember now,
Revolution.
The fans, when they heard his music, the fans were very pro AJ Styles. They couldn't wait to see him. And then when we got in the ring, he just became that ugly, angry character, and they didn't know how to react for a minute because they really wanted him to be the AJ Styles from a few months ago.
I can't really tell if the fans wanted to see him or not on this show because it was a lot of canned noise on this show. So
not as bad as some of the other weeks. It
was really bad. As soon as the show started, it was like they pressed the button. It was like it was one of those cheers. It wasn't like, oh, the fans really want to see. No, it was like
kind of had to expect that this was,
and I expected that.
The crowd was going to be down naturally because they're taping an entire episode of SmackDown after an entire episode of SmackDown like last week. So you had to imagine it was by the time the show ended, it was past midnight.
They sweeten it every week. They don't do it on Raw. Why do they do it on SmackDown?
I think they do.
They do it on Raw. They lower Dom's mic all the time on Raw.
Yeah, but they don't have the that fake crowd noise on Raw like they do on SmackDown. It's not as noticeable if they do.
Not as noticeable, but after 15 years in radio, I can pinpoint when something doesn't sound natural. Trust me.
We should do that here.
What? Just pipe in crowd noise?
Crowd noise for the debut episode in January.
See, people want to come here and get stuff that they like, not piped in.
Oh, that's not
piped
nice.
In crowd noise.
Come on.
We get Randy Orton, who comes down to the ring tonight. He's got his beef. They all say, hey, we want Roman. I want Roman. I want Roman. I want Roman. And hey, here's Nick Aldis with the solution. SP3 already brought it up. He comes down and makes a Randy Orton, LA Knight, AJ Styles at New Year's Revolution SmackDown episode, the first one of the new year. Winner gets Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. Gentlemen, who wins this match? Who gets Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble? Bill, what are your thoughts?
I say it's Randy Orton. Fans want LA Knight to. First of all, why didn't LA Knight, as soon as he got in when the three of them were standing there, why didn't he clock AJ Styles and get the revenge for last week right away? Right away. It's just sort of when the three of them were standing near each other, boom, give them the same thing. I was waiting for that, but I think it's going to be Randy Orton.
Yeah, I think it's for sure going to be Randy Orton who wins this triple threat in 2 weeks.
I think it is going to be Randy Orton, in which case my question becomes then, because as of right now, Roman Reigns is not slated or not advertised for Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
When do these other beefs eventually get settled with Roman Reigns? Because if Roman's not defending at Elimination Chamber, does he have a couple title matches on SmackDown here or there, or do these guys just kind of fall to the wayside? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't have either
Well,
of these two
the
guys.
LA Knight, he already had his match with LA
True.
Knight, so that's kind of already done and dusted. AJ Styles, I think, is something that they can kind of have lingering because he kind of is seemingly going to turn heel, so he'll have his issue with LA Knight to keep him distracted after he doesn't get the opportunity at Roman Reigns. And then if they decide that, the news that came out today that WWE wants to re-sign Cody Rhodes because apparently Cody signed a 3-year deal and next year is his last year in his deal. Maybe Cody is not winning at WrestleMania 40, guys. So Roman Reigns needs more challengers.
He's winning. He's going to get the bag. He's going to sign. It's
Randy Orton right now out of the 3 guys that are challenging him. Randy Orton, to me, is the strongest contender. He looks more like he could win that title than either AJ Styles or LA Knight, in my opinion.
We got Benny Vaughn chiming in saying he agrees with Bill that Raging Fury expected from Styles in the match against Solo Sikoa wasn't. That is exciting as it should be.
Yeah, they should have just punched each other for like 8 minutes. And
it was a very WWE kind of babyface because offense, and then the heel takes the heat for a while, and then babyface makes a comeback, and then the match ended by DQ. It was a very standard. It didn't feel like a grudge match at all.
Yeah. Ozzy wants the Carlton dance there. SP3, can you do the?
Already did it. Why would I do it again?
Why not? I don't think I've seen it tonight.
I mean, he didn't send a super chat. Our good friend Nasir Alexander, he sent a super chat. He sent a super chat and you asked, sure.
Yeah, he says, could we please stop having wrestlers shaking hands with one another after every single match? This is not boxing. This is not UFC. Where's the heat? He says,
I like that the Butch, oh God, his name, Dragon Lee. I was going to say Ultimate Dragon. That Dragon Lee and Butch, I appreciated that it was kind of like Ring of Honor style. And I know we'll get to that match, but I thought that was a good touch.
Yeah, and I think you had it with K. Maybe they did too many of them on the show tonight because you had KO and Carmelo show each other love after their match tonight as well. We move on to the Holiday Havoc tag team match. It was Bianca, Shotzi, Michin, and Zelina against Damage Control. We had a little bit of everything in this one. We had Kyrie doing her best Raiden impression on poor Shotzi's dome piece with a trash can lid. We had Zelina eating some 4-week-old pumpkin pie. And praise Jesus, we had Isla Dawn and Alba Fire returning on this show. Thank God. I cannot tell you how long I've been waiting to see them back on this. When was the last time we saw them? When they lost to freaking Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler? Is that the last time we actually physically saw them on SmackDown?
That's the last time they wrestled a match. We've seen vignettes, but
I mean, physically on SmackDown, except maybe watching a TV screen backstage out in front of the crowd for the first time in months. That made me a very, very happy guy. The ending of this match saw Bayley eating a KOD. Io takes out Bianca. And then, surprisingly, Michin puts Io through a table. The Kabuki Warriors were taken out of the equation, by the way, by Isla and Alba. That's important to mention there. And Michin pins the champ to win this match. That was a surprising finish, SP3. I was not expecting that.
I mean, it was good to set up a new challenger and someone that's fresh, like in Meacham, and especially if they were going to do the championship matchup in 2 weeks at New Year's Revolution. It's a quick way to heat somebody up. It's just, I mean, Damage Control, man. These start-stops with Damage Control is kind of annoying at this. It's just like, break them up already. That's where I'm at. Like, I'm just like, break them up already because y'all can't even give them 2 weeks with them winning matches. They couldn't just win this one. And then Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, I'm great that they're back on TV, but I was very confused. I was like, now you're baby faces? Why are you attacking? Because they said they were going after the tag team titles. Shouldn't you attack the champions? Though, like, if that's the reason why you attack them, you should probably attack the champions and not the girls that are going after the I mean, you're gonna need some extra mental gymnastics to explain that one. But
SP3, they're crazy. That's the thing about crazy women. They're crazy, SP3. They just do things. Go ahead, Bill. What were your thoughts on this?
No, I was saying it's a confusing night in the SmackDown women's division. Indeed. That's what Gordon Soley would have said.
I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot to it. There wasn't a whole lot of story advancement, which makes me like, because again, this was all filmed last week. So I'm sitting here and I'm going, okay, how much of this was just, well, Charlotte's out. Let's take some time to figure out what we're going to do. Because that I'm telling you, she was a key cog in what they were doing in building this story. And now she is out for the next 9 months, if not more, because several outlets reported she tore everything in her knee, unfortunately, ACL, MCL, and the meniscus. So 9 months is optimistic on WWE's end. This ain't that thing where they go, oh, they're out for 9 months, and then they show up 4 months later because they're superhuman. This ain't that, unfortunately.
No, they just threw the girls in there for an entertaining match for TV and for the fans. There was no real storyline, like you said, to move forward with. It was just, oh my God, look at this. So look at, it was one of those things.
Yeah. Hey, Bailey and Io, go out there and dance with a table for a little bit. Have a good time. You know, we'll eat some time up on this, and we'll take a holiday, figure out what we're going to do now that Charlotte's not here, and then we'll reconvene in January. Sound good? Sound good. I do like the fact that Michin got this win. I feel like her first, honestly, big any kind of win whatsoever since they brought her back over a year ago. At this point, she has been just chilling in just purgatory, just creative purgatory. They took her off TV when AJ Styles got hurt. They took her off TV when AJ Styles was kayfabe hurt, and now they bring her back, and they bring AJ back, and AJ's like, "Get the hell away from me! I don't want none of this." I'm just like, "What are we doing? What are we doing?
Hug me."
Right.
She's like, "I'm so glad you're back," and he's like, "Bitch, get off." But yeah,
So my weekly question is, are they going to now need to hopefully bring the maybe ready Jade Cargill into the SmackDown mix of the women's division now, because Charlotte's gone and now they've got to come up with some new ideas, so they've got to bring some new people in. So maybe this will be the entree to bring her in after the Rumble or whatever happens with the Rumble.
Potentially there's a couple of big free agents out there they could sign and bring in, and I'm not just talking about Mercedes, I'm talking about Julia as well. So there's some options out there, and WWE is opening up the checkbooks, ladies and gentlemen. They signed Bailey to a contract extension. They signed Charlotte to a big contract extension. They are about to give Cody Rhodes a big bag to keep him around. You got guys like people like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, whose contracts are up next year. They're spending money. They got it. They ain't afraid to. So, and by the way, Julia came out today. Well, actually, it came out a few weeks ago that AEW isn't even talking to her right now. So it's either she stays in Stardom or she goes to WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised if WWE ends up reeling her in. Jay Miller 3389 says there wasn't a single tag in that 8-woman tag match tonight.
No, it was a free for all.
Yeah, it was like holiday Havoc match, which means
like a tornado tag.
No DQ.
Well, screw it. Rules don't matter. I can cut your head off with a trash can lid. I don't need to tag nobody in this match.
A bunch of women wrestlers having a great time in the ring, beating each other up.
That was it.
I mean, the biggest nitpick you can give it is that nothing mattered until the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it was fun to watch.
Until the last 5 minutes was fun to watch. Everything else, it seemed kind of bored. The fans seemed like they were just sitting on their hands until they started using like some of the more fun weapons. Like until Kyrie pulls out that garbage lid and does a spinning back fist with the garbage lid, that's when the fans kind of started reacting.
I mean, that looked like it hurt. I don't care.
I was like, why do you do that?
Like, I know Shotzi's nuts, like committed, like you read about, and I'm pretty sure that trash can lid's made out of aluminum. I don't give a shit. That hurt. That freaking thing hurt. God dang. We see backstage, we see Jimmy Uso clowning around, annoying the hell out of Roman Reigns. And then he turns to Paul Heyman and he asks him to bring Nick Aldis to see him.
No, he did not. He said, "Who is the SmackDown general manager?"
That's right.
And I was literally at home screaming at my TV. I was like, "You did a segment with him! Like what?" I was like, "Roman,
Where is your memory? Where is your memory?
Roman, we understand you're not here all the time, but at least pay attention when you are." Like what? When he asked that, I started laughing out loud.
Well, wait, in wrestling terms, it would
Right.
be you didn't pay enough attention to him originally because the guy didn't mean anything to him. I mean, that's when we were doing the magazines, that's something we would have done in the magazine where Roman didn't not remember. It just wasn't worth his memory.
Was it a contract signing? Is that what it was that he did with him? Okay. Yeah. I mean, in that instance, the guy could have just been Michael Cole for all he knows. It's just like, hey, I'm introducing you guys. You guys signed the contract. Hey, we're all good. We're all gravy. Oh, you're throwing punches. Let me get the F out of here. So, yeah.
Right.
He probably could have walked into the room and he was like, oh, that was you? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That makes sense.
No, he wasn't worth his attention.
Yeah. I'll say this much, though, because we got a match after that. We'll come back to the match. But when Nick Aldis showed up in Roman Reigns' locker room, this was my favorite interaction of the entire night.
It was very good.
This was like Salvatore Maroni meeting Harvey Dent. That's what this was to me. That is a deep cut Batman reference, by the way, for those of you.
I was going to say, if you don't know what that is, you need to explain that.
Yes, that is a deep cut Batman reference. All right. That is mob boss meets the new law. And it's like, okay, who is the actual man in charge here? And you could see Roman Reigns just visibly pissed off at the end of this confrontation, especially after Nick Aldis dropped that line of, I watched him do to John Cena that even you couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns was so pissed that Nick isn't going to fold as easily as Adam Pearce did. Yeah. And he knows that his job on SmackDown to be this monster manipulator just got a lot harder. There was a lot to like about this, Bill.
Yeah. They were sitting on opposite. He had asked Paul Heyman. Roman asked Paul Heyman to leave the room. And you wondered what that was all about. And then Aldis just sits down and Roman kept sitting forward with everything Aldis was going in like, what? I run this. This is my show. And he was put in his place. And you don't see that happen to Roman Reigns a lot.
Yeah.
Are you the guy that booked that three-way? Are you the guy that set up Solo and AJ Styles? And it was like, you can't do that without asking me. Well, who's the boss, brother?
Yeah, I don't. He's just like, those are great ideas, buttering them up, right? Those were great ideas. The only thing you should have done, though, is run them by me first. Run them by me first. That's all you had to do. The only thing that I didn't like about this segment, SP3, was after he told Paul Heyman to leave us, he looks at Nick and he goes, how'd you know I wasn't talking to you? And I'm like, bitch, you literally just sent for him. Why would you send for him just to send him away again? That doesn't make any sense.
That would be something that Roman Reigns does. So
I guess you're right.
I like that line. I did. I was totally fine with that line. I have no complaints about this segment. I thought that both guys played their roles perfectly. Roman Reigns just comes off like the biggest villain that they could possibly be, and he tries to gaslight everybody. And Nick Aldis was ungaslightable here. He was dodging all the usual Roman Reigns manipulation tactics, and it was just perfect the way he came off here. And he came off like a real authority figure, like a William Regal-esque authority figure.
Like
that
yeah. It's that same thing.
Manipulated.
It's that British gentleman. It's that same thing. It's that same regal type of character. Different presentation of it, but that regal type of character. Very well dressed, and well, this is the way we're doing things.
And if you mess with me, I'll whoop your ass. We had, prior to this segment, we had Dragon Lee successfully retaining the North American Championship. North American Championship against Butch in this one. really nice ending here where Dragon Lee counters the bitter end into a destroyer, puts him away for the 1-2-3. I thought this was another really good match between these two. Another great showing for Dragon Lee tonight. What was your guys' impressions, Bill?
I thought it was great. Loved it. I love those kind of matches. It was no dead spots. It was boom, move for move, counter versus counter here. I really liked it. Both of them were very professional in what they did, and it was just terrific. I love those kind of matches.
Super fun matchup, especially like the last like 5 minutes when they really started like turning up the pace, doing a lot of like cool sequences, breathtaking counters. Like you said, the destroyer out of the bitter end. You had a great counter and sequence right before that. That was really cool. And then finishing them off with the Operation Dragon. I thought that Butch took that better than most people have lately. And I like the fact that commentary mentioned that Butch is going through an identity crisis, which gave everyone some hope that we might be getting the Pete Dunne name change that was talked about in like January. We heard that in January, and it's now December, and he's still.
And the handshake brings you to that possibility.
We are getting Pete Dunne in 2020.
That the handshake brings you to that. Maybe he's going to be a fan favorite.
Yeah, and look, here's the other thing about the name, right? Like, not only did we hear about this back in January, but then like in that same month, Piper Niven makes her return. Not Doudrop. Piper Niven makes her return at the Royal Rumble. Like, oh shit, they got rid of one dumbass name. They're definitely getting rid of the other dumbass name. And here we are a year later, and we still have the other dumbass name.
Why change the name Butch? Truthfully, you can. It's a different story with Piper Niven. They changed. I think Doudrop was not an acceptable name in the internet community for her in a lot of ways. I think people might have thought it was a making fun of her weight type of name. But with Butch, to me, leave it. There's nothing wrong with the name.
It's a stupid name.
I don't. Why?
When your name was Pete Dunne and the Bruiserweight, to just be called Butch, and they gave him the goofy hat. I just remember the goofy hat. As long as he has that name, I remember the whole presentation that they gave him when they dressed him like a cab driver. So it's just like, no, it has a wrong stigma. It has a wrong stigma.
Butch is a tough. When I was growing up, Butch was a tough name. Somebody was Butch. He was the bully in the neighborhood.
Yeah, no, we get it.
Nowadays, Butch stands for a rough-looking woman who likes women.
Right. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. The Butch that we know in WWE, like, he's been Pete Dunne since Triple H took over. The Butch we know is some scrappy do wannabe who just runs around and gets called a petulant child by Michael Cole and is disappearing. He's like mini-me. He's more mini-me than anything. Like, that's what we think of Butch, right? Like, that's not what we think about when we think about Pete Dunne. So I think there's a lot of people who just want Pete Dunne's name back, and I feel like I just feel like people will take him more seriously if he's called Pete Dunne.
I don't know. I think you're thinking too much about the name. I think
that's what we do.
If you turn him good guy, he's still going to be Butch.
I mean, name, presentation, it's a lot. It goes a lot into everything. But by the way,
a name change did everything for LA Knight.
Oh well, but he came from a different place.
No, they changed his name from NXT, and then he was Max Dupree. They realized that was stupid. Yeah. Changed his name to LA Knight. He got over in like 6 months. I think the same thing.
But his character changed too
with Pete Dunne.
But his character changed too. Pete Dunne and Butch still both wrestled the same way. There wasn't really
his character is much different. His character is much different. He talks. But he's a very like uppity. He's like William Regal in 1994. Like, that's what Pete Dunne is when he talks. Yeah. He's William Regal in 1994. He's not going to take any crap, but he's also kind of full of himself and has a nose up in the air. And Butch is a quiet guy who just acts all crazy, acts like Scrappy Doo. No, that's two different characters. So it's gonna be a
I like the current one. I like the current incarnation. That's my choice. We're allowed to disagree.
Yeah.
We are, sure, absolutely. That's more time than I thought we'd spend on Butch tonight. But we did see him later. He gets in a brawl again with Pretty Deadly after they ridicule him and poke at him with a jazzed up Christmas carol. That's the word I'm looking for. A Christmas carol. He starts punching him. Nick Aldis breaks up the fight. He says, "We don't do this crap back here. We do it out in the ring. Go find yourself a tag team partner." Who the tag team partner are going to be in 2 weeks at Revolution. I feel like this is a perfect time to finally bring Tyler Bate up to the main roster. Anybody else? Anybody else?
I mean, yeah, that would be great. He's done everything he can in NXT. It would make sense. I also thought that maybe if Sheamus is healthy, that's a spot for him to come back. So yeah,
be interesting.
That might overshadow him, though. Might overshadow him. Tyler Bate at least won't overshadow him.
I would agree with that.
All eyes would be on Sheamus in that match.
So we had Kevin Owens tonight, gentlemen. Kevin Owens moving on here tonight. The first of our 2 semifinals in the U.S. title tournament to crown the number 1 contender, that is. Kevin Owens does defeat Carmelo Hayes tonight. I thought this was a strong showing for Melo. The finish saw him kick out of the pop-up powerbomb, just eat a swanton and then a stunner. So it took a lot of offense to put Carmelo down. We kind of knew KO was going to win this one, so it was all about how he won this one for me. I think this was a great way in the end to show that Melo still has some game. He's got a lot of fight in him, and he's not going to lay down for a whole lot. SP3, what'd you think of this one?
I thought it was a very good matchup. I thought it was the better of the 2 United States tournament matches that we saw on the show. It was a nice little kind of babyface versus babyface matchup, but Owens playing more of the heel to kind of Carmelo playing more of an underdog, smaller babyface, very athletic, kind of keeping up the pace of the matchup. And I like the kind of last 5 minutes of the match, which was very similar to the Dragon Lee Pete Dunne matchup, where they were doing reversals, nice sequences towards the end of the matchup, and it just came down to one big reversal or counter at the end, and then he just puts him away with the stunner. So I like the way that finished. And I like the form of respect between KO and Carmelo, because it showed that Carmelo earned his respect in the matchup. So it put him over in defeat.
But does it weaken Carmelo's standing on the main roster by having a loss like that? What do you think? Because sometimes
he already had a loss.
Yeah, but so this is another loss. That's what I'm trying to say.
This one is much better than the last one when he was NXT champion and he lost to the bum who kept losing to Seth Rollins. Yeah. Like he lost to some guy just to heat him up to lose to Seth again. Yeah. In that this is a United States tournament matchup, and he's losing to somebody who's gonna get another big win before he versus Logan Paul at Royal Rumble. Yeah. So I feel like this is how you look strong in a loss compared to the last time where they didn't do that when he went against Finn Balor earlier this year.
But I'm just hoping that they're not taking his real estate down a little bit. So
I don't think all losses are created equal, kind of like what SP3 was saying. And, you know, I saw somebody, I can't remember who it was. I believe they were with Wrestle Purists, who was talking about the tournament they got going on right now in AEW, right? The Continental Classic, and how you have all of these guys who are just competing. You just had John Moxley lose to Jay White, and there was no talk after that match of, oh my God, I can't believe John Moxley did a job or this, that, and the other thing. It was just, these guys are building this up as it is the toughest competition in the world, and it's not who loses, it's all about who wins. Like, you can build up everybody in that situation. And like, we don't have to look at every situation like, oh man, he lost, he's a bum, he's got to go to the back of the line kind of a situation. I think this is just, Carmelo is still a young, talented up-and-comer who wasn't ready to beat KO tonight, but still put up a hell of a fight because it was tough competition on SmackDown. I think that's a better way to look at it.
The perfect example from the Continental Classic is Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe went 1-4 in the Continental Classic, but no one would argue with you that he's more over now than he was at the start of the tournament, because he went out and just maximize all his minutes, looked strong in every single defeat. And then his matchup with 0-4 Mark Briscoe versus 0-4 Jay Lethal had those people on their feet more than any other matchup on Dynamite this week, because it's Mark Briscoe and there's like this joy and this underdog babyface feel to him, and the fact that he lost all this time, you want to see him win. So like you said, like all losses are not created equal, and you can make a star in a loss.
Okay. Yeah, but there are fans who are like, "Oh, he lost again. What a bum."
Yeah, and it does. And here's where I don't like John Moxley losing to Jay White. Okay, both those guys are established stars. You're trying to introduce somebody, right, to the main roster audience who may not know anything about Carmelo Hayes. There's only an average of 600 to 700,000 people who watch NXT on a weekly basis. So there's a large portion of the WWE audience who doesn't know who Carmelo Hayes is. So it's very important. We knew he wasn't going to win this thing, but it was a nice showcase for him, and it's how you win it, which is why I like the finish. It was, oh shit, he kicked up out of the pop-up powerbomb. Well, let me hit him with a swanton. Then I'm going to hit him with the damn stunner, and then I'm going to put him in a deep pin here. And yeah, okay, finally this MFer's down. It took a lot to beat him tonight. So I do think that works for him. My question is he up? Is he not up? Was this another cup of coffee? What are we doing here?
He's not up yet. He's still got the whole story with Trick Williams.
With Trick Williams going on down there right now. So hopefully he's up sooner rather than later. But this was a nice another cup of coffee, for a better cup of coffee than the last time we saw him on Monday Night Raw. Gentlemen, let's talk about Karrion Kross tonight.
Oh, I love the guy. I knew him in the Indies, both of them. But are they trying to make like a whole, I hate to use this name, like a Bray Wyatt type of horror thing with he and Scarlett? It just doesn't click, in my opinion, that after taking him from up here and then putting him down here, and all of a sudden I'm back and look what I'm going to do to everybody. It's just,
I wouldn't say it's not so much like spooky. It's more sinister.
Sinister, right? That's
sinister would be a word I would use to describe his film tonight. And I'll give WWE credit this, right? Like, they're trying to take all of his bad booking and all his bullshit and turn it into something. And let's
give them credit for the retcon. Come on, call it like we see it. This is one of the best jobs WWE has done of retconning and making someone seem like they've made a difference in all the people they feuded with.
I mean, I'm paraphrasing.
Because all these characters sucked and you had to turn them heel. So you say, oh, Karrion Kross is the reason why all these guys got turned heel. This is great. I'm not even gonna be sarcastic or facetious. I really enjoyed this vignette. We got the Authors of Pain tease.
Yeah,
we got a whole clear look of them with Paul Ellering. We got the hand symbol of the Authors of Pain. We got Karrion Kross saying the authors. And I'm sorry, that was an excellent job of retcon.
No,
I gave the Bloodline the hourglass to tell them that they were going to split up. I was right.
Drew, no, it was a great promo.
I took his honor. You see what
it was a great promo. It was a great promo, but I'm just looking at what they've done with him, and then all of a sudden I'm back and I'm better than ever, and I'm right in the middle of SmackDown. I don't know.
No. I say all this to say that Bill's absolutely right. I don't know if this is going to work. I enjoyed this. That's what I'm trying to. That's what I mean. This was good, but I 100% am with Bill of not being very sure that when this whole act is put together and is put in front of the fans, that it's gonna get over.
Like, that's what I'm feeling.
I'm wondering if the Authors of Pain reveal is gonna go over well, like with the live crowd. Like, they have been gone for so long, and they have not done anything in wrestling since they have been gone, and they've been signed with the company now, according to Sean Rossap, for what, a year and a half? Over a year, and they're just now teasing putting them out there. I do like the fact that they are doing something different though with Karrion Kross, right? Like, it's not just the same old, it's me, it's Charlotte, we're spooky, we're hiding back, and we're gonna stalk somebody. There seems like there is actually a definitive plan in the works, and the retconning that SP3 said, I was going to run down all of it and then say, you know what? They actually made it make sense. They found a way. This is like that editing voodoo that they do where we have like
Mysterio's patient, so he hid his son in front of a mother.
And just for fun, I stole Shinsuke Nakamura's honor, and you see what he's become over on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah,
like,
but as soon as that hit,
made sense.
As soon as that video came on, I went like, "Oh, what's it doing here?" It just didn't seem to fit where they put it.
I don't
know. That's my opinion.
This was a positive step forward. They're doing something different. They're going to give him some muscle. It's all going to come down to his booking. Like, this dude can't come out here and start losing matches again. This MFer better not lose another match until August.
And and also, if we were going to put the onus on him as well, if he's going to get these opportunities, he's going to have some really damn good matches, because whether people want to realize it or not, and I know a lot of people are of the old school mindset of character and promos, we're in the work rate era, though. Like, you kind of have, when you're given big opportunities, you kind of have to deliver something that's entertaining and people say is good to keep getting more opportunities because of the era that we're in and what fans expect
who is the guy?
From the performers.
Who's the guy? Who's the opponent? Who are we looking at? Karrion Kross on SmackDown, first opponent to start feuding with. The look on your face is what I'm thinking up here.
If it's gonna be a big star and we're around WrestleMania season, it's gonna be Randy Orton, I think.
Ooh,
no.
God,
that's not the right. No, I understand that reaction that you just gave me, because that's not the right opponent, but that might be the right opponent to put him on a certain level, because of everything that he presented here means that, like, you're gonna start with a big guy.
But he'd have to beat him. Randy Orton would have to beat him. So then it's
no. Randy Orton would not have to beat him. He would have to beat Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Now follow me on this one though. Would it not? Because the one thing that Karrion Kross lacks right now is a reason for the audience to hate him. They're just very apathetic toward him. Mm-hmm. If you have Randy Orton in a position at the Royal Rumble where he's about to beat Roman Reigns, the bloodline is taken care of, they're out. He's got Roman Reigns dead to rights, and it's Karrion Kross who shows up and takes his ass out. All of a sudden, now you've got heat on Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
You've got heat on Karrion Kross, because there's so many people out there who want this Roman Reigns title reign to just freaking end to the point where they don't care who it is, and Randy's over. And if he's got him dead to rights and it's Karrion freaking Kross that comes out there and costs him that title match, they're going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed, and they're going to be pissed at Karrion.
The only other person that I thought of
too high.
The other person I thought of was Kevin Owens
for him right now. Who?
Kevin Owens is the only other person.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Could be LA Knight too, honestly.
No, LA Knight. I hope they don't give LA Knight another direction to go, because you're kind of already making it clear that he's kind of going to be doing something with AJ Styles.
That's true. That's true. The AJ, you're right.
I hope so.
I forgot about AJ. You're right.
How could you forget about AJ?
Because we're not talking about AJ Lee. Anyway, we got Will Chisholm with a super chat. Thank you so much. This is the best Red Vaughn since Fast Five. I don't get this. I'm sorry.
What does that mean?
I can't decipher this. Will, you explain?
Could you chisel out another?
You don't have to send a super chat, Will. Just send in an explanation, and we'll try to decipher this. I'm sorry, I don't know what this means. I've never even seen Fast Five.
What?
Van Diesel.
Fast and Furious.
Oh God, SP3, you're gonna hate me. You know the only Fast and Furious movie that I've seen all the way through
Tokyo Drift. I know
Tokyo Drift.
You told me that. That's a sad state. It's Tokyo Drift. He said the only Fast and Furious he's seen all the way through is the worst one.
Maybe that's why I'm not a fan of the franchise.
Exactly. That's probably why you haven't watched any of the other ones.
All right, back to our show.
All right, back to work. Back to work. Quit distracting me, folks, with your Fast Five references. We have Santos Escobar, who defeats Bobby Lashley tonight.
Yeah.
The story of this is the reemergence of Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. They attack the Street Profits on the outside. They're wearing masks. Santos is able to.
Who are these guys? Who are they?
Yeah, we kind of knew who they were going to be the second that they showed up. But they attack the Street Profits. Bobby Lashley, dumb babyface syndrome, decides to turn around, and he's pointing, and he's like, I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to whoop your ass. And then he gets hit from behind, and he falls down, and he gets up, and then Santos gives him the schoolboy. They probably should have just audibled into a small package or something at that point. But regardless, it looked a little clunky. They got the job done. He pulls the tights. He rolls Bobby's big ass up. And he pins him for 1, 2, 3 to move on. They start backing up the ramp. Boys take off the mask. It's Garza. It's Humberto. And I'm a very happy man. I don't like this match is what it is. It's what it is. All right. To quote the Irishman. But the pairing of Santos Escobar with Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo gets me very, very excited. And I love the fact
I think that'd
that
be really good.
And I love the fact that these three guys have now set up something with the street business, because that's a nice little filler program until Ray and Carlito and the rest of the LWO can come back. So they've got some room to work with. They've got a lot of nice moving pieces. And more importantly, SP3, they're finally freaking doing something with Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo.
Yes, which is two talented guys that have kind of been in NXT because they didn't have anything to do on the main roster, and they've gotten them into the Latino vortex. They are now involved where all the Latinos on the male Latinos are in one storyline in WWE. I love it. Angel Garza has been one of my favorites since his series of matches with Leo Rush. Shout outs to Leo Rush, who's doing great things, getting a lot of bookings on the independent scene now that he's a free agent. They had a great series of matches over on NXT in 2019, and I've been a fan of Angel Garza since then. I thought the pairing with him and Humberto Carrillo, his real life cousin, was going to be a great tag team for WWE, and they've kind of always put them by the wayside, even though they're very talented. They had great matches with the Creed brothers and the family over on NXT when they got sent there earlier this year in the last couple of months, and now they're back on the main roster, and I think this is the right role for them because they're perfect as heels. And just Angel Garza next to Santos Escobar, I was like, man, that's a pairing WWE should have done years ago. They just fit next to each other, and I'm sure Humberto will bring out more of his heel charisma as well, being paired with those two guys. So I like this pairing a lot.
Let's be honest, SP3, that's far too much pretty in one picture. And maybe that's why they decided to hold off for a long time. But I mean, damn, it's just there's a lot to like about this. Bill, have you ever met Angel Garza?
Yes, yeah.
Then after spending a few minutes with him, the man's an absolute star. He's an absolute rock star. He carries
himself. He carries himself with grace, and he's a gentleman. He's a professional in every way, shape, and form.
He oozes charisma. Like, this is a guy that just leaps off the page as somebody who should have been competing for WWE championships by now. Like, the guy has got a lot of what WWE looks for. I never understood why they parked him on the sidelines. But what do you think about this pairing with Santos Escobar and now that he's got this new trio behind him?
Yeah, absolutely terrific. There's nothing negative at all. It can only go up.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Lucha libre, amigo.
There's a lot.
Hola.
There's a lot to like about this. And look, I like that they're using this United States title tournament to set up new feuds. It's not just, hey, here's a match and okay, whatever, this is done, and here's a match and this is done. No, they're actually setting up different stuff inside of it, and they're making the whole thing mean more by doing that. There's a lot of little things to like about what WWE's been doing.
But when it's all done and over, Logan Paul's going to keep that belt. That's my prediction. Whoever it's against.
It's going to be against Kevin Owens.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be against Kevin Owens.
Me too.
You're probably going to get Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits looking for revenge, and they'll even the playing field, and they'll let Kevin Owens get the dub, which will help protect Santos a little bit. Probably get those 6 guys involved in the Royal Rumble in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they'll do a tag team match. I'm not sure. Make more sense to hold that off until like Elimination Chamber or something. But It's going to be a nice space filler. Again, said it before.
I just want to see the Street Profits already out of that the suits and ties and being part of Bobby Lashley's, like at the boxing guys, they come into the ring with a suit and ties and they're following the champion. They need to get back in the ring, back into action again.
One thing I do like about this is now you're adding Angel and Umberto. You're bringing back the Authors of Pain. Like, they're really starting to load up we saw them load up the tag team division on Monday Night Raw. They're starting to load up the tag team division on Friday Night SmackDown as well.
Good.
We know Triple H loves his tag team wrestling now, so let's split up those belts there, guys. Let's get this going and split them damn things up, because you're going to get to the point where you need them. Our main event saw AJ Styles and Solo Sikoa fight to, surprise, surprise, a DQ. AJ Styles
talked about it.
Yeah, he hit the phenomenal forearm. Solo rolls out of the ring. Roman Reigns attacks, causes the DQ. We get Randy Orton to come out. He gets his ass whooped. We get LA Knight to come out. They even the playing field. And then this match, this night ends with the three baby faces all brawling with one another. I thought the match was okay. I thought the finish was predictable. And then I thought the way to close out the show was fairly predictable as well.
I thought the match was, again, that venom that spewed from AJ Styles about this guy that cost him all those months of pain and suffering at home and took his money away, that he wasn't getting paid or anything. And now I'm in the ring with him. And it was a mild fight.
Yeah, it seemed like AJ Styles had more venom for LA Knight with that clothesline last week than he did for the guy who actually took him out. Like, that's
excellent point.
That's what it really felt like, and that's where I was just like kind of thrown off by everything. And even like you said, the ending was predictable, but it just felt really awkward. It just felt like the show kind of just ended flat. Like it ended like a tape show. Like even if I didn't know it was tape show, I would have been like, well, that felt like a taped ending. That's for sure.
Yeah, it didn't even have the WWE.
It had that, but it just felt like they just put it there because they didn't know where to end the show. Like,
like, it's like, we're tired. Let's get out of here already.
That's what it was. Like, the end of the night, it seemed like everybody was exhausted, and it was like, damn it, we've just done two shows.
It was that one fan.
Midnight.
There was that one fan, the little kid in the front row from last week with the blue headphones, and a little kid. I just remember from seeing him the week before there, that if people didn't know it was a tape show, they go, boy, he gets the same seat in a different town.
Look at this. His parents are taking him all over the place. Those are good parents. Michael brings up a good point. I want to bring this up before we wrap up here. They build up Karrion Kross with this big promo, and then they cut to Lashley beating him.
Yes. Yeah. Right. More proof of what I was saying. Build me up.
I think it's just proof that Triple H is good with the details, just not all of the details.
It's not all him.
All through the cracks. You're right. It's not all him. It's not all him.
It's not just. We can't just put this all on him. He's sitting there with like Road Dogg and other people, and they're discussing stuff. So we can't just blame it on him. It's what are we going to do with this? And
it's a very minor thing. It's a very minor thing. It's like in radio, if like you play like a La Rosa spot, and then after that you play a Pizza Hut spot like back to back. You're going, why would you do that? That makes no damn sense. It's probably what it was. Triple H is probably like, don't do that shit again. SP3, what you got going on at True Heel Heat this weekend?
I got a lot going on. True Heel Heat. We got the flagship podcast tomorrow, 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. Myself, Miss Chrissy Love, our final podcast before Christmas. So be having the Christmas spirit, be having our Christmas hats. We got Jeremy Lambert of Fightful joining us to talk about this week in wrestling, including some breaking news that just broke, I think, in the opening minutes of our review here. New Japan Pro Wrestling just announced that their president, Takari Bari, has stepped down, and Hiroshi Tanahashi is the new president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. So Tanahashi becomes the real life Antonio Inoki. His wish has come true. So we're going to be talking about that, talking about WWE gearing up for a four horsewomen reunion, plus much more.
Yeah.
So join us live for that.
I had I did an interview with Tanahashi when he was at the 2300 Arena earlier this year in the old ECW arena. What a funny and charming, nice guy for a guy who's like a killer in the ring. Totally opposite when I interviewed him. But lots of stuff coming up, lots of bookings that I've got in starting up, probably be at the Royal Rumble, then in Chillicothe, Ohio. Got a lot of St. Louis, Wonderful Willie's going to be all over the place. Want to wish all you people who watch us here and when Dutch comes back too, very happy holidays, and we'll see you next year, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Dang, Chillicothe, you're going to be like 45 minutes away from my ass.
Well, what about the rest of your body?
That's usually not that far behind. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't have anything really going on. I'm taking it easy toward the end of the year. Have a very
Well,
Merry Christmas.
come see us at Big Time Wrestling at in Chillicothe. Matt Riddle against RVD is the main event. That's going to be incredibly good. Yeah.
Very nice.
It's going to be a little cloudy in that arena, I would imagine. All right, guys,
No, I'm not going there.
It's legal here. It's legal now. It's legal. You can own it. You can possess it. You just can't buy it anywhere. Really weird
Just
spot.
give me these are my drugs. Fruit Adventure Tic Tacs. That's all I need.
I'm hanging out with RVD and Matt Riddle. Let's go.
Right, with the Tic Tacs.
All right, everybody have a very happy, safe, Merry
You too.
Christmas.
See you
And
at the
go-
Matthews. All right.
And go Bengals. See you guys.
Puff pass.
Go Eagles.